Are you paying too much in taxes? Elevated Tax and Accounting is a firm that specializes in tax planning and strategy to minimize your tax bill. Elevated Tax consult with you on tax strategy throughout the year, so no more waiting until the end of the year and hoping for the best. As a business owner, you know your sole focus should be spent working on your business, not in it. Outsourcing gives you the time to concentrate on the core reasons you started your company, to create and innovate a top-tier product and generate profits. Elevated Tax and Accounting, elevating you and your business with a modern professional touch.
Driving along on the highway and you've been hit by a semi-truck. Now what do? You call your Montana attorneys, Ryan and Miller. We have the expertise to help guide you along in these specific types of accidents. So these are the 3 steps that you need to follow. Number 1, make sure that the police are called and that there is a report of the accident. Second, make sure that you're getting the medical attention that you need and following up with your doctor. Third, do not talk to an insurance company until you've talked to an attorney. They are not going to help you protect your rights, and you want to make sure that you know all that you're entitled to. Contact an attorney today by clicking the link below.
Rivalry Week coverage continues, joined now by Montana State head women's basketball coach Tricia Binford here on Nuanez Now. Thanks for being here, Coach. How you doing?
Doing good, Colter. How are you?
Very good. First of all, tell me about this team. We've talked about it several times throughout the year, but here you are. You keep on putting them together. Another great road sweep this last weekend. So how have you seen this team improve? And what do you think of just sort of the building process you guys have gone through, especially since the last time we've talked?
Well, I think the big thing that's showing is just our depth of play. We have a lot of different personnel that can step up on a given night. Teams are going to show you different looks. They're going to counter, and we've had a variety of kids find ways to put points on the board, get stops on the board, and I think depth over the course of a season is really important.
We've had so many different players for you stand out. But I want to ask about the young lady we just talked to, KJ Martin, formerly KJ Lamardo, because to me, she seems like one of the pieces, at least, that makes it all come together. So what have you thought of her sort of accentuation of her role this year, and what has she brought to your basketball team?
Yeah, I mean, KJ has started since her freshman year. We're going on year 5, and she's such a big piece of who we are on the identity of the defensive side. You know, when you think of our defense, you talk about our length. If somebody was to describe our defense, a lot of times are like, you guys are so long. I'm like, you've got KJ at a 2-3 at 6'2", with great length. That's being super disruptive and playing really, really hard. And on the offensive end, she can really hit shots. She can get to the rim. She can get you to the foul line. She's really evolved her game as of last year when she needed to do a little bit more than just the 3. And, I just think she's a complement of the pieces that we have together this year. You can't really pull everybody to Esme and leave an open shooter, and you can't really collapse on a post play and leave an open shooter. And at times, if, people are trying to hone in on a Mara or an Esme, you can post up a KJ, and, there's a lot of different pieces that we can go to, and then you bring in our bench. And so I just feel like KJ, with her experience, has been such a great leader. She's been an instrument for the new kids coming in of what it looks like to prepare every day and be ready every day, to get better every day. It's a grind of a season. February is the month where you try to separate yourself and win a championship, and a lot of teams get burned out at this place, and this team seems as hungry as ever.
I love the story that Bill Lamberty from Montana State Sports Info wrote on KJ. I think it was either last year or 2 years ago, but just about her time in high school and just the dedication that she had to. I mean, she's driving like hundreds of miles a day to go to practice and play on these club teams and stuff. When you first recruited her, did you see that love of the game, and has that played out now in her lasting all 5 years and being such an impact player for you?
Yeah, this is a kid that since day one has lived her life of outworking the person she's going to go head to head with. And I think she can honestly step on the floor and always be confident knowing she has not gotten outworked. There's the component of sometimes she plays too hard, and too fast. And, I would love to kind of bring my kids down versus trying to speed them up. And she's been one of those kids that's really learned how to play off 2 feet and let the game come to her at times, because that has been her life. Her mom was a big part of it. She helped drive her to a lot of those practices, but she's the kid that you definitely have to kick out of a gym here. Devin knows, her position coach, when we're trying to find extra days of recovery and she's trying to sneak in, I'm like, if she's going to get shots, then stationary shots, it's just one of those things that she's learned over the course of her career. When you are a workhorse and you have that kind of work ethic, there is a moderation component that is part of your training. And she's certainly that.
There are so many attorneys in Montana. How do you choose the right one for your legal case? Well, you want to choose one has a lot of experience and who will communicate with you. That is our office at Ryan and Miller. It is our entire team's goal to make sure that every single one of our clients' needs are met. And that looks like not treating you as a number, but treating you as the individual that you truly are. So if you need any legal services, please click the link below to talk to an attorney today.
Big Sky Breakdown, proudly presented by the Bobcat Collective at Montana State. The Bobcat Collective is the NIL collective that serves Montana State University student athletes. The collective has partnered with Montana State to connect fans, alumni, businesses, and local nonprofits with Montana State student athletes. Opportunities through the collective allow student athletes to earn compensation while serving the greater Montana State University community. Sign up now for memberships and enjoy automatic entry into raffles for free tickets while supporting the bright minds at Montana State. They have multiple different membership tiers, and you can also be a one-time supporter, and you can also business partner or corporate supporter. Visit bobcatcollective.com for more. Tricia Binford here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, as well as the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series. You mentioned Mary Dykstra, but what a game she had against Idaho State. I love that I think her last three, they panned to you on the bench, and you're like, well, I guess she hit another one because this thing was like a 30-footer. What's it like watching a player get in a zone like that?
Well, it was really needed. So it was I was very grateful. Idaho State was that was what they were giving us. They were plugging the paint, and, for Mara, it was kind of full circle. This is a kid that's probably passed up that shot to go to her pull-up jumper. And I think since the beginning of the season, we've been trying to get her to be shot ready on that shot, that's a great shot for you. Even though her pull-up's a great shot as well. And if that's what they're giving you, I'm like, we've kind of gone the season that we're going to take what teams give us. And, that game in particular, I just felt like she started off the game that way. And as she got going, and I think that the hand signal was kind of multiple, like it was definitely not the possession that I was hoping it to be. And it ended up in her hands really deep. And it was just like, okay, she's in a zone. It wasn't a great possession, but we'll take it. Right. So really happy for her. This kid just has she's having a special season. She's really coming into her own. But that piece of her game was really exciting to see for her.
As the wins and the streak continues to build, how do you sort of manage that with your team? Because obviously, as a coach, every night out, you want to continue to win. But how do you sort of manage the expectations and also just the noise that comes with a winning streak that's in the top 5 in the entire country?
Yeah, I can honestly, Colter, tell you that I haven't controlled social media. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to, get them to focus on what we're doing and nothing else. And social media has had all this attention. Even after the Idaho State game, Daniel's talking about Esme and her free throw streak. I'm like, don't tell her that. And then it's obviously on the next thing on social media. So I don't talk about the win streaks with the kids. I didn't talk about the comparison of the most winning teams with the kids. What we're really focusing on is this week is about getting back to champion habit week. Really felt like we kind of have gone away the last few weeks when you're just going game prep, and you don't have a lot of time just to focus on yourselves. I felt like some of our champion habits have slipped. And so for us this week, it's a matter of, can we focus in on just executing our habits 9 out of 10 times and get better today? And I think KJ, she attested to, like, when we go and prepare for every game, that's all we want to focus on. We don't want to know who's next on that. It's just win today, take care of today. We took that from football. And I feel like they've done a really good job of staying present in that. There have been times where I felt like they felt the pressure of the moment of, hey, this team could beat you. Any team can beat you on a given night. This league is, I'm like, we know this league. This league has tremendous coaching. Teams are always ready. We're always going to get somebody's best game. But this team continues to respond to every contest in a different fashion. And we've had a lot of tight ones. What I want is, I just want them to continue playing loose, playing hard for each other, competing the right way. And that's what they can control.
You mentioned football and Montana State football, their 1-0 mentality. When they first started talking about that way back in the January before, after they had just lost in the playoffs, you're like, okay, but then they continued to go on. This was a daily thing for basically an entire year. When you see it and you have sort of proof of concept, I know you're very process oriented too. So I guess the question is, how important is having an actual process to get back to these championship habits that you're always talking about, having these sort of pillars to reset yourself? How important is that for your program as a whole?
Well, I think it's the only way you can grow, really. Otherwise, you're bouncing around with all these concepts of, this is exciting, that's good here. But if you try to be great at everything, you're not going to be good at anything. And for us, we've really focused on where our identity starts. Kids know when they come in here that they're going to defend every single one of them. Esme coming in here, she was like drawn to our defense when we were recruiting her, because she's going to play at the next level. And we talked a lot about the defense beyond her offense, and how we're going to help her grow on that end of the floor for the next level too. And so I just think, that to me is there's no better way of describing it, with all the distractions of the voices externally from a locker room versus this is who we are. These are our habits. This is what we're going to trust. And if we don't trust in the principles of who we are, then we're going to find ways to lose. And if we just let the process take care of itself, we can be okay with whatever that outcome needs to be. And the kids have certainly bought into that. But it takes an entire team to stay committed to that process and to stay bought in on that. And KJ alluded to that too. We've worked at that since we got everybody during the summer. You can't go away from that. And that's what we're really trying to lock into again this week.
The processes of all of it, and sort of the discipline, like you're talking about, the habits. It's so fascinating to me. I'm reading this great book called The 5 Types of Wealth, and it's all about building wealth beyond just money, time wealth and mental wealth and physical well-being and things like that. And he's always talking about the discipline of the process. So I appreciate that. I think that's going to serve your players well in life after basketball too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, we're creatures of habits, right?
Totally.
Like we have them whether we think we do or not. And we get to choose what they end up being. So if we can replace them with things that are going to be productive for us and have a rhythm of kind of moving that needle. We talk about moving the needle just a little bit every day of getting better. I'm like, then I think we're moving in a great direction.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up.
Will you marry me in your future? Or maybe you do it all over again. Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
How do you balance, Tricia Binford, you're on Nuanez now, ESPN Radio. How do you balance sustaining all of the things that you're doing at a super elite level and still challenging the team to improve on areas maybe where you see improvements needed?
Well, I would say the team would know it's pretty easy. I show them film.
Right.
You are what you are on film. And, we use the line, the standard is the standard, no matter what. And I think when you see us rotate kids, like the way they compete never stops. Like we might pull them back to half court, but the way they compete until that final buzzer should never change. And we've recruited kids like that. So I think that's really where they know that they're going to be continued challenge to grow is they're going to see on film, like this area, we're not 9 out of 10. So there's always room for improvement. How far can we go, even though we're focusing on one game at a time here? How good could this team be if we get these in place? And so I think when you have competitive kids, it's easy. We have really competitive kids. And I think there's been some games where we've won and we've gone into the locker room and they have not been happy. They have not been satisfied with either how we finished or a certain quarter. And I love that about them. But at the same time, I do want them to also be able to have a day to reflect and have joy and celebrate their achievements. That's a part of it too. You do need to enjoy your journey. You need to enjoy your ride. If you were to watch this group, how they interact in their practice, they just love each other. They have so much fun with each other. And I think we're really intentional that these practices, they need to be intense, even though we're shorting them down right now, but they also need to be a lot of fun. Life, as far as our opportunity to be together, basketball seasons go super, super fast. So this is a moment we want to make sure we cherish.
Lady Grizz in town on Saturday should be an awesome environment, raucous crowd. So how do you sort of balance the rivalry with the winning streak with the also just chasing this Big Sky title that you guys are on top of the standings for right now?
I think everybody knows, these kids know Cat Grizz Week is just a different week, right? Nothing else matters. Cat Grizz Week. There's all those other factors. There's, we still have a lot of work to do with 4 games left to kind of finish the conference piece here. But Cat Grizz Week, it's an important game. It's an important week. Like KJ said, it's for our community. That's our first Gold Rush Colter. If people can actually get here through the mountains of snow, I think it's going to slow down by the weekend. So no excuses for this community to get out and support our players. But I just think Cat Grizz Week, there's nothing like it. It's going to be our largest attended game. So that is worth just in itself to get up for. And we have a whole week to get better. To me, that is the piece right now. And we need to be better. Montana exposed us in so many different ways that outcome could have gone the other way. They had a great end of game play call that had a great look. We need to make sure we get better in some areas so we're not exposed and we make them earn what they get because he will have them ready. They do shoot the 3 ball very well. They've got a lot of great pieces. So we just need to make sure that we show up for those 2 hours and we're bringing our best game.
Have you seen much of a difference in how Montana has been playing since the last time you played them, or is it a similar identity to the first matchup?
Gosh, I think that's a similar identity. I'm like, they didn't have Danny Barch against Northern Arizona at home. And that kind of maybe was a little bit of a start with, some of the challenges heading onto the road. I'm like, it's hard to win on the road, first of all. I think everybody in the conference would tell you, travel in the Big Sky is hard. Winning on the road is hard. The mentality of what that needs to look like. It's only a 3-hour drive here to Bozeman, so it's not really as much of a road game. But I think their identity is still right there. You've got Mac, who is a tremendous facilitator. You've got shooters everywhere. You've got, they've got length too. I think they're playing a little bit more of their bench as well. They've got an interior presence that's really hard to defend. For us, like, we just put ourselves in so many numbered situations that we just got to clean those things up on that end of the floor. But like I said, I'm like, we're on our home floor. We got to protect our home floor.
Tricia Binford, the head coach of Montana State women's basketball team, on a 17-game winning streak headed into the rivalry game on Saturday with the Lady Grizz of Montana. Coach Ben, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Colter. I appreciate it.